My mind's playing tricks on me. Why won't it let me be? Look inside and try to find, but nothing seems to give me sweet relief. Why won't it let me be? Look inside and try to find, but every time it seems I lose my mind. My mind. Oh, It's Self-Helpless with Kelsey Cook, Delaney Fisher, and Taylor Tomlinson.
This episode of Self-Helpless is brought to you by Care Of, a monthly subscription service that delivers completely personalized vitamins, protein powders, and supplement packs right to your door. For 30% off your first Care Of order, visit takecareof.com and enter promo code HELPLESS30. That's HELPLESS30.
And thank you to Blinkist for sponsoring Self-Helpless. Blinkist is made for busy people like you who want to get the main points of books quickly without reading the entire book. Go to Blinkist.com/selfhelpless to start your free 7-day trial.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Self-Helpless. I'm Kelsey Cook.
I'm Taylor Tomlinson.
I'm Delaney Fisher.
And today we have such a cool guest. We're very excited to have her on. She's the host of the Burning in Hell podcast, where she interviews guests about their insecurities, anxieties, and fears. And she's also right now on the Bravo reality TV show Summer House. Please give it up for Hannah Berner.
Yeah.
It's like a packed room in here. I love it. It's hard to get you all together to do this. It's exciting. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, thanks for coming and doing it.
Cannot wait to dive into this. Do you have a favorite or least favorite quote that you'd like to kick off the show with?
So I was inspired by, I stalked your Instagrams beforehand because I'm a professional.
Oh yeah, girl.
I want to know what I'm getting involved into.
Yeah.
Kelsey, were you the basketball player?
Yeah.
Okay. Because you all kind of look slightly like in the best way.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Like that we could be related, like a half
Yes.
sister situation.
Yes, that meant to be a compliment. So you were playing basketball, and I have a basketball quote. I'm from Brooklyn, New York, so I like to relate sports to life. Also because I have an insane sports family.
Yes.
That they don't understand that sports is just a game. But we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
But my quote is, even when it's raining, the hoop is always there.
Ooh, I like that.
And I love it because it's like when you're in a dark place, you can't see that there's so many opportunities on the horizon, or even at that moment.
Yeah.
Do you ever have something good happen to you and you're like, I could have never predicted this a year ago?
Totally.
But so when you're in that dark place, know that there's still light even though you can't see it.
I love it.
So
Freaking
look at you
killing it.
coming in.
I came in hot. Well, you guys prepared me.
Dunk.
Oh, look, there's cameras. I didn't even see that. Oh, sorry. I haven't been cheating.
This is a reality TV show professional here.
I'm just trained to not notice the cameras. Just being natural. Okay, now I have to change my hair. That's the whole thing. No.
That's a great quote.
That is good.
Thank
I love
you.
that. I haven't heard that one before.
And what's your least favorite?
My
quote?
least favorite is anything that has to do with hustle.
Really?
That's funny because as a sports person, I would think that's right up your alley.
No, I think that it's makes people psychotic, the whole Gary Vee thing, you gotta wake up at 6 a.m. when other people are sleeping. And I feel like everyone has their own way of being the most productive, creative people. And if you're constantly pressured to hustle, you're gonna want to kill yourself.
Yeah.
Wow, I
And if you're
love
constantly
it.
comparing the hustle, it's just life is too different. And hustling has created animosity towards myself of being you shouldn't take a break, you shouldn't rest.
Yeah, girl,
When
you're
it's
at the right podcast.
You
Yeah.
need to take that mental or physical break to grow and to excel. So all that hustle bullshit. Also, when people say stuff I saw this Instagram quote that was never tell people how hard you're working, and that's how you know you're going to be successful. And I'm so you're basically trying to tell people you're working hard, so therefore you saying that is you.
Oh,
It just,
you know what I mean? Show people how hard you're working. Don't tell them.
Yeah. But they are clearly telling people that they're working hard by saying that quote, not to tell people you're working hard. It's just the whole
yeah.
It just basically it pisses me off.
Quoteception right there.
Yeah, quoteception. That wasn't the exact quote. I butchered it, but you know what I was saying.
Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely.
We're on board.
And it's there's a the Instagram model, obviously, that is that idealism of beauty that's fake, and there's also that hustle model on Instagram that's fake.
Right.
Where you see someone on their plane, going from LA to DC to New York, and it's it's never what it actually is.
Yeah, that's so true.
I mean, even like
Yeah.
comedians, and they're like, oh, like booked a gig. It's like you're getting $5 for that gig. Like you probably got booed off stage. Like stop trying to brag about it.
That's funny.
Or you're sad, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I won't speak for Kelsey, but I've certainly posted like things like, look at this, and I'm touring, I'm on the road, and it's like I'm crying while I post it. It's like I'm being gone so much.
100%.
But everybody's like, you're so busy.
oh yeah.
And you've had those moments where you're looking at other people working hard and success, and it's like, damn, she's so busy. I wish I was busy like her. So there's all that kind of fakeness that you need to look past.
Absolutely. I like the Instagram quote that's going around right now. Not really a quote, but it's the word hustle crossed out, and it just says balance underneath.
Oh,
that
so good.
makes my heart warm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what we need. That's what we need.
I love that. And that's like my new California vibe. California.
You've been here, what, 10 minutes?
Yeah, I've literally been here for under 48 hours, and I'm like, Ellie's changed me.
Yeah,
I'm like
your flower crown just
I know.
sprouting out of your head.
I want to get like a little dog to put in my bed.
I have one.
You're not like, ew. Like,
Well, I had a lot of like ideas about LA, and I, as a native New Yorker from Brooklyn, but I would like talk shit about LA and then be like, oh, I've never been there though. And people are like, Hannah, you can't talk shit if you're not informed.
Yeah. Yes.
So, but LA I always thought was like a little more like about aesthetics and like a little more about like physical stuff where they say like
we are. Don't let us fool you.
yeah. They say like a blue verification in LA is like a Harvard law degree in New York.
that is hilarious.
Fuck, that's good, dude.
But like I just love stereotypes in general.
Yeah.
So I'm enjoying that. But LA is fascinating.
Now you can talk shit with conviction because you've been here.
Now I'm like, I know.
Yeah.
I have evidence. I have the receipts.
Well, I think
Yeah.
everyone tries to look perfect, but in like I didn't even try. Like kind of, you know what I mean?
I woke up like this.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Speaking
Or
of
they like, no offense to you, like with the hat, but if you added sunglasses, like I feel like people walk around like they're someone more than they are.
I walked in with sunglasses on. So I guess
You
I'll
were
just
like,
go
I
fuck
intro the
myself.
Self-Helpless podcast, so I need my space.
I need
privacy.
this. That's so funny. And I feel like a total douchebag. It's just because I haven't showered and I have acne.
No, you
right
look
now,
cute.
So I just, thank you.
You gotta hide the
trying
greasy
to
hair.
hide as much as I can. Yeah. I was gonna say, speaking of like hustle and all that, Taylor and I were just texting about the Beyonce documentary
my gosh.
yesterday. Did you see it yet?
I need to see it. Wait, when did it come out?
Like
maybe.
a week ago.
Yeah.
maybe?
Okay, so I haven't seen it.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're okay.
Boy, like the whole idea of hustle, and I wouldn't say that we are an anti-hustle podcast because I definitely think that we like try and motivate people to do their best.
Yes.
But one of my favorite quotes at the beginning of this podcast has now become one of my least favorite quotes, which is, remember you have as many hours in the day as Beyonce, because that used to give me very unrealistic ideas of how I should be spending the hours of my day. And
Yeah.
you watch this documentary and it's like, you know what? Like, God bless her, because I mean, I need her in my life and she's amazing, but like, not everybody can do that.
No, she has an extra 10 hours.
Like her work ethic is insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, she also has the help of like a lot of people around her.
Yeah.
But her individual work ethic is truly, I mean, I've never seen
But I also
anything
think
like
like if you're looking at true success, it's someone who has a combination of the work ethic plus the passion plus the fucked upness of like a little insecurity and need for affirmation.
Yeah.
So
Plus
it's like
a fuckload of luck.
and a
and money.
fuckload of luck
Yeah.
and timing and money and good genes. But I think that she clearly like loves what she does, and I don't know what drives her. And sometimes what drives people isn't healthy.
Yeah.
Which is also why I started my podcast, Burning in Hell, because
Yeah.
I was meeting all these celebrities when I worked for Betches doing interviews, and I always was like, if I had the like platform and like the money, I would be happy. And you realize like, oh, so many of these people are dealing with so much of the same shit we are, and I wanted to be able to talk. And they're just like always bragging in these
Yeah.
interviews, and I'm like, I want to talk about the bad things that you're embarrassed about,
Exactly.
you're insecure
Yeah.
about, and also learn how they cope with it. Like I want to know from Beyonce how she copes with when she gets burnt out. Like that's interesting to me.
Yeah,
Not that
absolutely.
she's like, I am running on so much. I don't know what she's running on.
Yeah.
Right. When
I don't know either, because in the movie she's like, I cut out fish, meat, carbs, alcohol, sugar, bread. I'm like, what is she eating? And then they have a shot of her eating an apple, and you're like, I guess that's it. Like,
Yeah, no, there. Once you eliminate all that, I don't know
Well,
what is
have
left.
you seen the Serena Williams documentary?
I watched half of it, and that's like
It was kind of triggering to me, so I couldn't finish it as
Yeah.
a
Oh,
tennis player.
tennis.
But like, she's a psycho control freak. Like they're not necessarily healthy and living the happiest lives. Yeah. And that's why I'd say like Beyonce, I'm throwing shit out there. I might regret saying this, but like obviously she has some relationship issues and her career probably wasn't good for her relationship necessarily, or maybe it bonded. So it's like it's not all positivity that this girl's able to work so hard.
Yeah. Well, to get to that point, you kind of have to be obsessed and addicted to it. Or that's how you become the best in the world,
and to be
or one
addicted
of the greats,
to anything,
right?
It's like alcoholics are not just alcoholics; they're trying to numb something else. I'm basically trying to say Beyonce's fucked up. Just kidding. No, but I'm saying like there's more and complexity to like. I just see her as like a human. I wonder why she has that like incredible drive and what's the deeper meaning behind it. But ultimately, I think she feels like almost with me. Once I started to get a platform, instead of like being scared of it, I was like, oh wait, all these fucked up things happened to me in my life, so I could tell people about it with my platform, whether it's through laughter or through other things. And maybe she feels like she has this talent and she brings so much joy, and that's what drives her.
Yeah.
I'm just making up things.
No, I think you're right. I mean, she does look like she's having so much fun.
Oh, it's the coolest thing. And I mean, she also, I think a lot of the focus of the documentary is that she's the first African-American woman to headline Coachella. Wow. So she wanted it to be like a really big moment for her, and you know, her whole team of people on stage. It is some of the most talented musicians, dancers ever. And so I think for her it was more than just like, oh, I want to put on a good concert for people. It's like, I want to send a message. And
I also think it's
really
important for girls to see that that like she has a whole family and she's built an entire empire. And I think women, that's why like back in the day when they were housewives, they just like get drunk on wine all the time, because like women are meant to create shit. We're creators. Like we want, whether we're creating comedy or like people. We are not destroyers, we're creators. And I think it's great, and hopefully it inspires other women to be like, fuck yeah, I can do that too.
Absolutely. Yeah. Can you share like a little bit about your podcast? Like what have been some big surprises? Who have you interviewed? Like who have you been surprised with that's like dealing with some shit?
Well, if you guys are Bravo fans, I interviewed Margaret Josephs, who's on The Real Housewives of New Jersey. She's interesting because she's like an older woman. She's, I think, late 50s. She left her husband for like the guy working on her house.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's like some Real Housewives. real Housewives.
Shit.
Yeah.
And like most podcasts, I'm not dealing with people who have like whole family drama like that I know of. But I was like, I have to talk to her about it. We're in hell. We're burning in hell. Yeah. And I was like, do you regret ruining your whole family dynamic for this guy? Like I had to say it. And she looked at me and she talks like this, and she was like, I don't regret starting a family with Jan, my ex. He was the perfect man to start a family. And my current man now, Joe, is the perfect man for me now. And there's different loves for different times. And she kind of showed me like, everything you're taught as a child was like spun. She's like, yeah, loves are sometimes for different people at different times.
Yeah.
And like we're
but
so
what about your family though? Like, are they cool?
I mean, kids, schmids, who cares?
Are the kids adults and stuff?
The kids are adults.
Oh, okay. All right.
It was like old when they were older. But it's still like she had to deal with a lot of bullshit. But she was like, I had to choose my happiness over my kids, and my kids didn't understand at first. But it also like as a young woman, you're taught that like love story of like you meet the man of your dreams, you get married, and you run away happy ever after. And then to hear someone else be like, I didn't do it and I fucked up real bad and like I'm really happy right now. Yeah. It was kind of nice. Also, how many people do you think just stay in divorces because of society? I mean, stay and don't get divorced.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So many. Yeah. A lot of people I know.
Because women don't want to be judged and men don't want to be judged. And it's like, you know what? Who cares what other people think? Do you hate yourself right now or not?
Yeah. I'm just trying to hold out until I'm the age that would be my second marriage. You know? So it's like, I'm just going to skip the first mistake. Because
then you get the guys.
Because
all the good ones are taken right now. I'm in my late 20s. You got to wait for the divorce rate. Which is smart. I like that strategy.
That's what my manager told me. She goes, you got to get married at like after 40. And I was like, what? I can't wait that long?
That's funny.
I also had Ryan Serhant, if you guys watch $1 Million Listing on Bravo.
I've heard of this.
So he's like he wanted to be an actor and then started real estate to make money in New York City and then became like the star of $1 Million Listing on Bravo.
Oh, nice.
So it's interesting how
That's
like he
cool.
literally gave up on his dream and somehow found his dream again. Like the
That's
universe,
really neat.
The universe was like, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And he has like millions of dollars and he has a vlog and he's so busy and he's just insane. And I'm like, how do you do it? And he's like, oh, I feel the constant need to succeed or I hate myself. And it's like a scary feeling. But he found like a wife who calms him down.
Oh, okay.
And is like, stop talking about work, turn off your phone. So it's just he's tortured in his own mind. He has so much money, but it's never going to be enough. And he knows that.
Wow.
But like
Yeah.
talking to these people and seeing the human side to them, it's just like, it makes the world seem so different than just like the successful and not successful. I feel like success is once you can master your own mind and it's not mastering you.
Absolutely. So you mentioned that you have some fucked up shit. Would you like to share with us?
What about
I want to ask specifically about, because you said the Serena documentary was triggering for you
Oh,
because you
yeah.
used to play tennis.
Yeah.
Can you talk about how it was triggering for you? And
100%.
how tennis players are
Well, so I
psycho?
think tennis players are psychopaths because it's the loneliest sport. If you think about it, like you're on your side of the court. You can't be coached. There's no one in your corner. You can't call timeout. You can't pass the ball when you get nervous. There's no one to blame when you lose. So even saying that, I'm like a little shook.
Yeah.
Like it's scary.
Yeah.
But I always put myself out there and it was like performing for me. I always had a creative side. I liked the attention and I naturally was skilled at it and athletic. And I like was very hyper. So it was a good thing for me to
good
do.
outlet.
Yeah.
But I'm from Brooklyn and like I experienced 9/11 when I was 10. And I think that's like the first time you realize what the world is. Like around 10 years old, you start like having more emotions and your brain start to form of like what things are. You're not just following your parents around. And I was like, holy shit, the world is really scary.
Yeah.
Like my friend's parents died. So I coincidentally started to play tennis right when that happened, like really getting into tennis. And I think I was like, I can control like my parents' happiness and my happiness with this sport. And like the world made more sense with sports. Like I can go on the court and I win and my parents love me. Everyone's happy. I'm happy. And I put all of my anxiety into this sport, I think, where like I wouldn't deal with other issues. Like everything else I didn't care about. It was all about tennis. And
Because you couldn't control any of that stuff.
exactly.
Yeah.
But tennis was going well. Like I got ranked top 15 in the nation when I was 14. I moved to Florida.
Oh my God.
Damn.
I mean, I was in it. Like I was in it. And when I was 5 years old, I told my parents I want to be a professional tennis player. So you have that like voice as a kid that you don't want to like disappoint.
Yeah.
Like you're like, I told myself I was going to do this. But I didn't realize like I suffered from so much performance anxiety and I would win, like I'd figure it out. But like competition was like judgment day to me. It's like being a stand-up comedian and like loving practicing jokes and being really funny, but the second you're on stage, it's your hellhole. So it's like
what that feels like.
Imagine
I'm kidding. Yeah, I
doing
get it.
that for your whole life
Yeah.
and not growing was scary. And then I got like a full ride to University of Wisconsin. I played professionally a little and like I didn't understand why this was happening to me. I'm like, this is what I meant to do. So why am I self-sabotaging and like not happy on the court ever? And finally I was like, I can't do it anymore. And also I fucking hate quotes that are like, never quit. Because it made me feel like a quitter.
Right.
Yeah.
When really I think I was just like the universe, I think pushes you off of paths for a reason.
Yeah.
And I was just like banging my head against the wall. And I'm like, I want to be a professional tennis player. Then I went to sales, which was again like, my dad was my coach, so we had a tough relationship. Like, he's my best friend, but like, it was very hard to see my dad upset when I lost. He was kind of living vicariously through me.
Yeah.
But then I was like, he was a salesman, and I was like, now I'm going to do sales, and I'm going to do really well. So I did the same pattern.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Okay.
And I think you have to think of life as like, to simplify it, is you're just doing a lot of patterns. And the second you learn how to break the pattern is when you find yourself. That's like really deep, but I feel like we're all kind of like computers, like zeros and ones. And like you learn a lot of shit as a child and then you just like subconsciously do it when you're older. But the second you could like cancel out everyone else's voices and hear yourself is when you're free. So I finally like quit. I quit sales. I went to marketing, which is even more boring. But I did some sports broadcasting. at Wisconsin where I played tennis, and I learned how to edit video. And I literally just had this moment. I was watching old YouTubes of me, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do video. I just like manifested the word video. I didn't know what it would mean. And then, long story short, someone who I had met had like heard that I was interested in video and said Betches, who is this like big like millennial female social media, is looking for their first video producer with 5 years experience. And I was like, I don't have that. But I believe that you should never take a job that you're fully qualified for.
I like that.
I think women need to start thinking that way. Like men, like really, I'll figure it out. And women are like, I'm overqualified. I'm perfect for this. Go in with a little fear.
Yeah.
But it's like going to do a show that like, you're going to sell out easy. No, try to get the bigger, venue.
Interesting. Yeah.
And just a big shout out to Care of for sponsoring the podcast. Get back into a routine that empowers you to feel your healthiest. The online quiz is now new and improved to learn if you are getting enough protein, fiber, and good fats to determine if you could benefit from Care of's new natural protein powders. Ooh, they got protein powders now.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome.
Yes. Care of now offers protein powders available in individual packets for on the go and tubs, all personalized to your fitness goals and dietary preferences. Your personalized Care of subscription box gets sent right to your door every month with personalized daily packs. Great for a busy on the go lifestyle, and they even say your name on them, which is so cute, and we all love that. I've loved using Care of. Like we've said, like I love the online quiz. Anything that's customized to you just makes you feel so seen, right? So heard. You get me. And then they just tell you exactly what they're sending you and why because of your results. And I totally felt better taking this. You can tell it's high quality products. So for 30% off your first Care of order, visit takecareof.com and enter promo code HELPLESS30. That's HELPLESS 30. That's 30% off your first Care of order when you go to takecareof.com and enter HELPLESS30 at checkout.
We also want to thank Blinkist for sponsoring Self-Helpless. In today's age, it can be hard to find the time to sit down and learn more. It's not easy when the likes of social media can be so addictive and time-consuming. Oh my gosh, the Instagram addiction is real.
Very real.
So you may think you don't have time to read a book or to develop yourself. There's an app that we totally recommend, and it's called Blinkist. Blinkist is the only app that takes the best key takeaways, the need-to-know information from thousands of nonfiction books, and condenses them down into just 15 minutes that you can read or listen to. This is perfect for our listeners.
Good.
I mean, there are so many self-help books.
It's overwhelming.
Oh my gosh, it's so overwhelming. And a lot of them say like similar things.
Yep.
And you just want the most important takeaways. You want like the bullet points.
We want the nuggets.
It's like what we do here on Self-Helpless.
Exactly.
Read books and tell you guys what we got from them.
Exactly. So Blinkist helps you get the main points from a book quickly without reading the entire thing. With the audio feature, Blinkist makes it easy to finish 4 books a day. Can you imagine? It takes me years now to finish half a book, and I'm like, I'm so proud of me. 8 million people are using Blinkist right now, and it has a massive and growing library with topics in self-help, business, health, and history. I mean, in less than 15 minutes, I can read one of their many available self-improvement books and feel like I'm on the fast track to a healthier me. I'm eating breakfast in the morning. I can read Michelle Obama's Becoming. Like right now, for a limited time, Blinkist has a special offer for just our audience. So go to Blinkist.com/selfhelpless to start your free 7-day trial. That's Blinkist spelled BLINKIST. Blinkist.com/selfhelpless to start your 7-day free trial. Blinkist.com/selfhelpless.
Yeah. Awesome. Now back to this episode with Hannah Berner.
So I like sent a funny video and I had some ideas, and I've always had humor in my life. My dad's very funny, and I was dating a stand-up at the time, so I was subconsciously taking all his powers while we had sex. It was like Space Jam. I was just like taking his power. No, but he was like
Just
inspirational
jokes,
to me, and he was like I was like, if he could do it. He had intimacy problems, so we just joke all the time. So I'm like, if he could do it, I feel like I could do it. And so Betches, my stuff started to go viral. I was writing videos for them. I was like creating my comedic voice. And it was a new place that like didn't have winning or losing. It was just like me trying to find my voice.
Nice.
And then tennis like started to make sense. I was like, oh, I was doing something that like wasn't 100% right for me.
Yeah.
And that's okay. And I didn't disappoint that little girl when she was young. I just grew and I changed.
Yeah.
And like what is success besides just like being happy with what you're doing? Who cares? If I walked in and I said I won the US Open, you guys would be like, cool. Like it's not going to change my life. I feel like life is like 5% really happy times, 5% really sad times. Then like the rest is just like existing.
Right.
So it's like, if you can't just find that existing time comfortable, it's like you're fucked.
Right.
Not to get dark, but
That's real, man. That hit me hard. Yeah, shit.
sorry.
That's okay.
So yeah, that was like my life in a quick synopsis.
Yeah. So when you watch a documentary where she's like trying to get back into tennis right after she gave birth, you're just like the anxiety.
It's
wells
triggering too,
up.
because I still felt like kind of a failure because
Mm.
I quit it. But I have to understand that like it's okay that something wasn't meant for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it sucks. I know in LA, like everyone's chasing a dream and they're always like, should I quit? Should I quit? But I feel like as long as it's still making you happy, still do it. As long as you can still pay your bills and it's making you happy, still do it. And yeah, you'll get upset because you get rejected a lot. But like when you know it's what you're meant to do, it's all you're meant to do.
Yeah. I have a question about was there like a moment when you knew like I'm definitely quitting, like this is not me anymore? Was it like a progression? Because I quit stand-up about a year ago, which we've talked about on the show, and I know the exact moment I decided like I got to get the fuck out of this. Do you have a moment, or was it like
I had brainwashed myself so hard, but it happened because college tennis ended, and like I had a choice to go pro or to go sit at a desk and work. And my whole life, my dad taught me like success is being paid to be able to play a game. Like that's what I thought success was. And I saw it very black and white. Like you either made it or you're sitting at a desk and your life sucks. But I like to go pro as a tennis player. We're learning a lot about sports today. To go pro as a tennis player, it's not like basketball or football where you just get signed to a team. Tennis is entrepreneurial. Like I have to pay for my travel. If I don't get a sponsorship, I only get paid when I win.
Oh, wow.
And it's very lonely. If you can afford to pay with a coach, you have a coach, but otherwise you're traveling alone. And like it's just like a sad, sad life. And I wasn't ranked high enough after college for me to be like, this is for sure a thing.
Yeah.
It's funny is when I told my parents I'm not going pro, they all were like, thank God. Because like we were tortured.
Yeah.
But also if you didn't know us, you'd be like, Hannah is such an incredible tennis player. Because on paper, I got a full scholarship to college.
Yeah.
Like I was ranked always like top, 20 in the nation. Like life was like good on the outside. That's why it's like success does not equate to any kind of like
Real
deep
happiness.
like contentment. But I knew I wanted to, but yeah, instead of doing like the desk job, I realized it took me a couple years to realize just because I stopped my dream doesn't mean there's not other dreams happening. I thought it was like you're literally an accountant or you're a professional athlete.
Right.
But then I like realized like when I was a kid, I tried to get close to my inner child. Like when you were a kid, thinking what you actually enjoyed doing. And like, yeah, I love playing sports and running around, but I also was the one who like, if you gave me a pen and paper, I was like drawing for like 5 hours. I'm like, no one interrupt me. Or I was like trying to do silly dances to make everyone laugh. So it's like, we are not just like one-dimensional like spirits. We're
Right.
so much more complicated than that. And like tennis, I think prepared me so much even for like my comedy, because or segueing to reality TV. Like tennis is so much fucking drama. It's like me and a girl across from me just like fighting for like scholarships, all this. It's insane. Like cheating, yelling. It was crazy. So like when I'm on reality TV and like this girl Lindsay's trying to bully me, I'm like, bitch, you don't even know what I've seen. This is entertainment. Like I've dealt with like my mom and dad paying hundreds of dollars for me to travel to Arizona for a tournament and a girl cheating me during Deuce and me losing my shit.
Wow.
I'm like someone just like saying that, like trying to make me feel bad. I'm like, okay. So it was still like performative for me and fun. And like, yeah, we all have so many skills and so many things. It's just our brain that can close us off. Like your future is literally just controlled by how creative your brain is.
Yeah.
So what was the jump between the desk job to being on a reality TV show?
Well,
How does that work?
Great question. When I was at Betches, I was just like making videos. I thought it was my dream job. I was having so much fun. And then I got a DM from a producer because I like kind of knew some people on the cast. And I grew up, I'm a native New Yorker. In New York, you like during the summer, you don't stay in the city. It's like gross concrete jungle. You go out to Long Island and you go and you play tennis or golf. I would like nap at my grandpa's house and like play golf. I didn't party the way we do, but I was like, let's do it. And I kind of was like, this is going to be me. I'm going to be myself. But I think it's an opportunity for me to show people like, just because you're on TV doesn't mean you're perfect. I could be on TV and show people like I have insecurities. I've dealt with depression. I've dealt with anxiety. I have daddy issues that are more complex than what the media shows. And I'm like, I could take this opportunity and do something like reality TV hasn't stereotypically seen.
Yeah, that's really cool.
So I'm like kind of having fun with that right now. Obviously, I can't control how the thing ends up, but like I tried to just be really authentic and not afraid of like looking like an idiot.
Hey,
And embarrassing my entire family, which can happen.
that's a good way to go into reality TV, is just being like, hey, whatever is going to happen is going to happen. But
They
just
say
trying to
when
be authentic.
if you try to produce yourself, the producers like laugh in your face because you're not in control.
I would not do well in reality TV.
That sounds terrifying. I mean, as somebody who's like anxious, as you just said, how the fuck are you on a reality TV show? Like, and not like pulling your hair out? Is it just because it's like funny to you and you're like, it's like a funny thing to do? Or like how, because it sounds like an absolute nightmare to me. Like, I really don't know how anyone would deal with that stress.
It was a timing thing because like I think we all deal with anxiety to an extent, and like I did fucking work on myself. Like I was in therapy and I was like, why does my brain play tricks on me? And I was in a really like healthy place by the time reality TV was like, hey, you want to do this? And I was like, it was almost like me playing a match when I'm finally ready, except it was in a different vertical. And like I didn't have any nerves, and I kind of was like, I've worked on myself. I was in a relationship where I recently like felt like I lost myself, and it was like tennis came through him again, where it was like I felt expectations and I wanted to win and I wanted to hold him up like a trophy when he was so not right for me, and then it just like blew up in my face and I got in a dark place. And then getting out of it, like getting out of a dark place will teach you more about yourself than anything.
Yeah.
Anything. So I think I was like out of my dark place, and I was like, I like who I am in the mirror, and it's an adventure that I thought, like, how often do you get asked to do that?
Yeah.
And I was like, worst case scenario, my entire family's embarrassed, but you know what? I've embarrassed them before. And like I think it was risky of me, but it seemed like a risk that I wanted to take. Some risks are really scary to me that aren't scary to other people.
Yeah.
But then like I'll raise my hand in front of like 200 people and talk, and other people are like, are you a maniac? And I'm like, just my brain.
Yeah. Well, I know for public speaking, that's like so many people's number one fear. And
Yeah.
for us, that's where we feel most comfortable. But yeah.
You're so right.
Yeah.
Yeah, a
So,
lot of comedians.
Maybe this is a dumb question. I don't watch a lot of reality.
No
TV.
questions are dumb.
What is Summer House about?
That is a great question.
Okay.
So where are you from originally?
I'm from California.
Okay, cool. Are you guys from California too?
I am.
I'm from Washington State.
Oh, nice. But you're all like West Coast. Oh, this
Yes.
is fun. Okay, so Summer House is about people who have like fun, cool jobs in the city. Some are more fun than others. But like, so we're working hard in the city. I live in Midtown Manhattan. So it's like
Cool.
the Empire State Building. I'm on that block. It's just
wow.
like, and it's,
Oh, you're in it, man.
I'm in it. And the reason I'm in it is because the rent is cheaper and it's easy to get anywhere on the subway. I'm just trying to get you to like envision.
No, I love it.
And I walk like 10 blocks to my job. Everything's walking or subway
That's
or an expensive
amazing.
Uber. So I'd work at Betches. But then on the weekends, during the summer, a lot of people get summer Fridays, or you just have your weekend and you want to get out of the concrete jungle that's like hot and like concrete and gross. So you get a house in the Hamptons. So the Hamptons is basically like New York, but moved to a beach. It's like all the fun clubs and bars and restaurants and pools. I love pools. I think
Yeah.
they're the coolest because you don't just, your friends don't have pools growing up in Brooklyn. But so you get this big house that like no one can afford, but you get like 10 to 20 people in it. So every weekend you do a share house. So it's basically like they follow us like drama during the week because your week affects your weekend. Like
Yeah.
you get your boss is an asshole to you. You're gonna feel it on the weekend and want to drink a little more or whatever. However you deal with your demons.
Yeah.
But they follow us. It's like Big Brother, where you have you're recorded 24/7, like sleeping, eating, whatever.
Oh my god.
And so I'd work 5 days a week.
They record you sleeping?
I go to sleep with the red dot looking at me. And I was like, you motherfuckers. I'm just like, I hope I don't fart in my sleep. Sorry. Sorry, producers. But then like it's just 8 of us and us dealing with like the friendship of summer. I know we're not coming of age because I'm 27, but I feel like we're always coming of age in like your time in your life, and we're all dealing with like, none of us are married. We're dealing with finding relationships ourselves, and our careers are like kind of established but still working on it. So we're all in this weird phase, and it's really like fun. It's not like housewives drama where people's families are getting torn apart. It's more like you're like weirdest friends having fun, and you're like don't want to go to the party, but you'd like to be a fly on the wall at the party.
Is it like Jersey Shore? Is it like it's crazy drunk and like
it's like Jersey Shore and like but like a little classier. Like not too much classier, but like we're getting, instead of like them doing fireball shots, we do fireball shots, but it's a lot of rosé.
Okay.
Rosé.
Sure.
People like, yeah.
And you already knew some of the people who were in the cast?
I already knew some of the people, and surprisingly, like we really all hit it off. Like we had the kind of chemistry where like we call each other out on our shit, but we like actually do like each other.
Have you like hooked up on camera with anybody yet?
So I like kiss a guy on camera, and I also cry on camera, which I didn't think I would do. But you have to understand, however sane you are, weekend 11, some people, I'm like, if they breathe in my direction right now, I'm gonna lose it.
Yeah.
Like no matter how much you think you can control yourself, you get pushed. But also like I was kind of excited to grow. Like I grew from this reality show, which sounds so weird, but I was forced.
Sure you would.
I was forced to be in social situations that you could never force me to be in. Like I like to be a hermit on the weekend with my cat. You like cats too, right?
I do like that. I love how much you stalked me.
I know. Well, it's fun. I love you too. Also, I just was connecting with the cat thing with Kelsey.
No,
and then the basketball.
cats.
It just, I have nothing against you two. I stalked you equally, I promise. I gave you all equal stalking time. Afterwards, she's like, that girl was obsessed with me.
I love it. I'm like, what else did you see?
What was I talking about?
About weekend 11.
You're a hermit on the weekend.
So I'm a hermit. I just want to stay with my cat. But then I was literally forced to wake up and do things. And then I was also forced to, if someone's like kind of mean to me, I literally will just be like, note to self, that person's an asshole, and I'll talk shit about her to my best friend later. And that's how I cope with issues. And then if you come towards me like, I don't love your energy, and I'm like not going to be excited to hang out with you. But this, instead, they're like, oh, are you mad at Lindsay? And I'm like, yeah, she was being kind of a bitch. Well, you have to talk to her about it. And I'm like, and they're like, you need to talk about your issues. And I'm like, but I'm drunk. And they're like, you should. So like it's basically dysfunctional group therapy.
Oh, that's
a good way to
Dysfunctional drunk group therapy.
So they are it's just people like cattle prodding you, like go talk to whoever.
It's actually like really not produced a lot, but there are moments where like, cause we're in it and we're making entertainment, it's like if someone pisses you off, you gotta address it. And I'm the least confrontational person off the tennis court. Like off the tennis court, we're all comedians. Someone says something to you, you're like, okay, and you make them laugh and you move on. You don't take anything seriously. But tennis, I would be a psychopath. But this was a time for me to confront some people. And I literally like once had to confront someone on the show. And like I couldn't make eye contact with her, and I was like, you hurt my feelings. Like I really didn't want to do it. But you get to see me in weird situations that I would have never put myself in. And it made me less scared of like real life.
Yeah. So would you say that this reality show is relatively real? Or do you still think
This show is like very real because we're not like planning scenes.
Yeah.
The cameras are just always on, where other shows they'll be like, okay, we're going to meet at this cafe and you guys are going to talk.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't know exactly how other shows do it, but all I know is our show is just cameras everywhere. Like there are so many scenes that I'm like, how'd they get that? I was in the hot tub. Like no cameras.
Wow.
But there's mics behind our bed and we didn't know that. So like me and Paige would wake up.
Tell you that?
Oh my God.
Me and Paige would wake up and I'd be
How do you masturbate?
not on the weekends or in the bathroom. The bathrooms were safe. But if two people go in the bathroom, they're allowed to go in.
Oh my God.
I'm telling you.
Holy shit.
That's why by weekend 11, you're like, I will lose it on anyone.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you, you guys should watch season 3 of Summer House. It's really good.
Oh my
Nice.
God.
I'll definitely check it out now.
I'm into it.
Yeah, I would say like a lot of other reality shows, like, it's not real. Everything's overproduced. They're doing several takes per scene.
Oh, no.
But this is like hidden, planted cameras, and you guys are just doing your thing.
Yeah, and like there are cameras that are filming.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've never repeated anything on the show.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
No. Yeah,
That's kind of impressive.
and it's also like because I think the cast is really good. Like I know that I think if I'm like talking so much about production, but I think it's really interesting. If a show like doesn't have a good story, like people might have to step in and push them a little more. But if everything is better organic, and that's why, like Taylor, you don't watch a lot of reality TV, but I do think that I love shitty reality TV, and it's because there's like these golden nuggets of like the most real shit. But with all the fake shit, there's like golden nuggets of like heartbreak or like embarrassment that like they can capture. It's like sports for entertainment of like the agony of defeat, like The Bachelor. Like it's all fake, but then there's that one moment when she's crying and you're like, oh my God, this is so pure and authentic.
Good point. Good point.
And that's what I love about, because I'm fascinated by like the vulnerability of human souls. So that's my dark side.
That's very
You're like,
true.
not for everyone. I don't know.
I know it's a little dark, but
Well, who would you like to have on your podcast? Is there anybody that you're specifically like, oh man, I want to know like what is fucked up about them?
Besides Beyonce.
that is
Besides
such a great. Oh yeah, Beyonce would be great. I'm very fascinated with like not getting like the most famous people, but getting people that I have good chemistry with and people who are willing to go deep with me. Obviously, it takes me like kind of buttering them up a little to go there. Like no one's just gonna be like, yeah, I have bulimia.
Yeah.
But like people that can go there. I've always been inspired by Chelsea Handler. I think she's like cool. Like I grew up watching her show, and I once taught her playing tennis. She didn't know who I was, obviously, but I taught her, and like I'm just fascinated with like her career because now she's very political. Also, I mean, even Amy Schumer too. Like there's so much darkness in comedians, and they've always been the best on my podcast because they know how fucked up they are and they know how to laugh about it. Because overall, my podcast has a very comedic tone.
Right.
Like I was talking with this girl who worked for Barstool who was a military vet, and like we literally started laughing hysterically about her like suicide plan.
Whoa.
Which is insane to me, but like to have lightness in that darkness, like me saying it to you, you're like you're sick, but in the
No, we're all
moment
comedians.
it was
Yeah, no,
really
yeah.
funny because she was like, I'm gonna go to the George Washington Bridge, and I'm like, it's so New York for you to be like, I'm walking here, I'm trying to jump off the bridge, get your car out of my way. And we were just cracking up, and I think that for people to be able to hear that in a destigmatized way is powerful. But yeah, I don't really know who would be on my podcast. I just love fucked up conversations. That's the moral of my story. But I love comedians. Like you all are invited, of course, to go on it next time you're in the city.
What has doing the podcast taught you about yourself?
Amazing question. It's really shown me how similar people are. Like I found so much connection with people that I would have never thought. Like, because it's so easy to like project onto people that like you have it the hardest and like everyone else has it so much easier. And I was definitely guilty of that when I was in dark times, being like, no one else understands how hard it is to live in my mind. But then when you talk to someone, you're like, oh my God, we all are still haunted by the embarrassing thing we said in 3rd grade, or like, we all have those moments where for no reason we illogically doubt ourselves.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my God, we're in it together. I think especially with females, like our brains work in a unique way. So bonding with more women has like really empowered me, especially creatives. Like even doing this podcast, like I saw my friend Remy Casimir was on it, and I was like, okay, if Remy likes them, I feel like I'll like them. And I feel like women coming together over like our struggles. This is a like mental health podcast.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's just really powerful that we're able to talk about it with each other.
How do you get people to open up to you about that stuff? I mean, I know you said you kind of butter them up a little bit of just like, I'm sure there's 10 minutes of like, you're so amazing. Let's talk about how amazing you are. But I mean, do you have like certain questions that you ask everybody? Do you kind of get into it guest to guest and do your research beforehand and kind of go like, what about this? Can we get in here and just burrow?
It's funny. I really, every podcast I end with 7 deadly sins where I talk to them about like, what's the last time that you were a sloth, or when was the last time you were angry? Who are you envious of? So like they know those questions. So like they have to answer those questions.
Oh, that's
but
fun.
in the beginning, I think I just have a knack for getting to people to open up, and I have a knack for being vulnerable myself. And I think when they see me, like I don't get embarrassed easily, which I think is why I'm good on reality TV, because I'll be like farting in the hot tub and I'm like, wah. I'm like, pay me more money per episode. But when I'm vulnerable, they feel like safer to be like, oh, that happened to me too. And like honestly, my conversations, like it's much more exhausting for me to do an interview than like for me to be on an interview with you guys. Because when I'm interviewing someone, I'm like listening to everything they're saying and like really trying to connect to them to understand the why and how, so that when I do ask a follow-up question, it's not just being nosy. It's like actually makes sense. Like someone was talking about alcoholism and I was like, so what kind of like pain were you trying to numb? And like that's a logical question to ask if you're opening about that. So you just kind of like peel layers until they don't want it to be peeled anymore, and you know that. But a lot of people that come on are ready to go to hell. They're like, I'm like, this is not for your mom. Baking in the morning. We're trying to get down and dirty. This isn't for like apple pies.
You go ahead.
I was gonna say a lot of our listeners, we have a private Facebook group, and a lot of people talk about like wanting to make a career change or some kind of shift, or they're hating their job.
I love course correction.
Right. So it's like, you played tennis for how long?
Like 20 years.
So you played tennis for 20 years. You were probably thinking, okay, this is it. This is forever. So how mentally, what kind of stuff were you telling yourself to kind of get you out of that place and make it okay to go elsewhere?
Well, I thought I was just like immediately behind. Like I was like, oh, I like fashion, but people have been doing fashion their whole life. Or, oh, I like comedy, but people have been doing comedy their whole life. But I think you have to understand that like it's about finding your happiness. And it's not about competing with other people. It's competing with yourself. Right. And like ultimately, who would have known that I was like depressed, not knowing what I'm doing, and 2 years later I'm on a national TV show. It was literally just me knowing what I wanted to do, and like the results will take care of itself. I really believe that, as long as you're being like listening to your own voice of what you really want, not what your parents want, not what looks good on paper, not what you think your boyfriend wants. And then like it's almost like tennis was putting a round peg in a square hole, or a square peg in a round hole. You guys know what I was trying to say?
Yeah.
You're like,
either
ooh,
yeah.
Ooh. Where it's like, you'd be surprised when you are doing something right, how things are going to accelerate for you. And also, as Margaret Josephs from Real Housewives of New Jersey said, like, there's no timetable. Like, time is all constructed by society. Like, I know, like, oh, you look younger sometimes, or you might be in a better place. You don't have kids, you can move at a different time. But really, like, you can follow your dreams at any time. And I hate that it's like you only live one life, but like seriously, you do what you want.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid of like the results with it. As long as you can afford financially to like have a roof over your head and have food, the happiness will fulfill the rest by doing what you want to do. I have no tolerance for people who are like doing jobs that don't make them happy when they're not in it just like for finances. It's like, life is too short. And I know some people aren't as like hungry or crazy as me, but it's like, seriously, you get addicted to complaining sometimes.
Yeah.
Like you love being like, oh, I hate my job.
Yeah.
Get out of that. Like, you imagine all the time you could have doing what you want with that time you were complaining. Complain about fun stuff. Like, complain about like, oh, I just like got this gig and like the trailer's not big. Like, go do that. Like, that's way more fun. Don't complain about like your boss who sucks.
Yeah. People get scared to like move out of their comfort zone. It's kind of like what you were saying before, that we're just like ones and zeros. We're programmed to have these patterns. And so even if people are miserable, it's more comfortable for them to be miserable.
You're so right.
Than to break out of
and
that.
And that's why I think rock bottom is a thing, because like it's even like relationships. You'll stay with someone like until it gets like really bad. You're like, it needs to end violently for me to leave this.
Yeah.
But it's like when I hit rock bottom after like my breakup, I was like, all I want is to be happy. And when you're like really clear with that, then you're just grateful for like, I wake up in the morning, I'm not depressed, and I'm doing what I like. Instead of being like, why am I not ranked internationally? Why don't I have a sponsorship? Why am I not on Forbes 30 under 30? No. Are you happy? The rest comes with.
Yeah. And when was your breakup in relation to, like, how soon after was this reality TV show opportunity?
So my breakup was, I actually I dated this guy. His name's Dan Soder. He's like, does stand up in the city.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
That's my man. We're good, but like we were not great for each other. And like it ended right while I was like at Betches, and like he made me feel like so connected to like talent and like comedy, and I felt like alive and relevant, like being with him and like being part of his world. And then like when we broke up, I realized like I was kind of using him as like a trophy and being like oh, I'm dating. And then when he was gone, I was forced to face like my tennis issues of like my ego and success, and like I wanted him to like fix all the tennis issues, to be like, oh, I'm not a failure, I'm dating him. That's literally what I did. And then once we broke up, it got really dark, and then I started to build myself up again through therapy. And next thing you know, I started my podcast. I'm gonna say like it took like 6 months. Started my podcast, reality show came. It really was like a very quick, and like he's an amazing person. He was the wrong man for me. And once I got out of it, things started to like work for me, and I realized you don't need a man ever. You don't need a man. But he did help me get confidence in my comedy, and like I am eternally grateful for that. He didn't know it at the time though. I was like, how'd you come up with that joke?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah, because we also get a lot of people who are writing in about like that relationship in their 20s that isn't right for them, but they're trying to make it work, and like,
don't force anything.
Yeah.
And that's why I think right now it's the first time I'm single and like happy about it, because before when I was single, I was always like fishing. I was like, who am I gonna catch? Who am I gonna trap? You know the Ali Wong joke about trapping his ass?
Yeah.
I'm gonna trap his ass. She's joking. Do not trap anyone. Don't force anyone, because 8 months later you'll be like, oh, this is why was a terrible idea.
Right.
Like the truth comes out. Sometimes it just takes a while to figure it out. So like I'm just like doing me, and I feel like with the right person, you can't fuck it up. So like I'll ignore someone for 8 months. As long as you don't murder them, it'll work out. I believe our energies will come together. So I'm just in this place where I'm like, I'm not trying, I'm not forcing, I'm putting myself out there in a very authentic way. Like tell them up front, like, I like cats and astrology. If it's like pepper spray to him, it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
But if it isn't, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
let's do this.
What's up?
Like I
You're
used to hide the
zen.
fact I like cats for like a bit.
Oh no, if you love cats, you need to have a man who loves cats.
And like if he's allergic, I'm like, you better fix that. Like figure it out. You better figure out that genetic mutation.
Get that Claritin.
Get that Claritin.
Get that Claritin,
well,
baby
she's
boy.
allergic to cats and has
Well, that's true
massive
love.
cats.
That's
Exactly.
true love.
It
My
is,
dad grew out of it. Just FYI.
That
It's
would
like
be
you
very
desensitize.
nice if that happens.
I used to
She's
say,
allergic to
I used to
everything.
go, oh my God, I love all animals. Like I love dogs, but like I always had a cat growing up because I grew up in Brooklyn, so it was small. I didn't want to abuse a dog with like a small area.
Right.
And then later on, he's like, why do you have 100 photos of your cat sleeping on your phone? I'm like, because I love her.
I'm obsessed so much. Yeah.
I wish I didn't bring her up. Now I miss her.
You have to show me a picture after it, okay?
I had it in my back as my background, and I had to take it off because I was getting too emotional whenever I checked my phone. And I checked my phone up a zillion times a day, and I was like, "This is not healthy for me mentally."
That
is
is so funny. I thought you were gonna say because like guys thought it was weird. And
No,
you're
no, no,
like,
'cause
I was tearing up.
I was literally like, "Her name's Butter," and I was just like, "Butter." Her name's Butter. It's like when you're at a party and you realize your pet's home alone, and you're like, "I need to go."
Yeah. Oh my God, Butter.
Yeah, Butter. I love names of like food or like real people names, like Stephanie. That makes me laugh too.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
Well, I mean, you're a great guest for this. I mean, do you
Thank
have
you.
any last words of like advice, wisdom that people can take with them to follow their dreams?
I think that like just like throw out any story you had when you were a kid of what you think success is and any patterns that you were taught of like what's right and wrong, and start to just listen to what you want. and being selfish like that is actually really healthy, because it's the only way you could be happy, because it's just you.
Just you.
Absolutely. And where can people find you?
Oh yeah, you can follow me on Instagram at beingberns, BeingBernz, and subscribe to the Burning in Hell podcast, BERN. It's a pun in my name. It's cute. It's not a devil worshipping podcast. But yeah, I love you guys so much. I'm so happy we got to connect in LA.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thanks for doing it.
Thanks for coming on, man.
Sweet.
Sweet. Thank you.
Bye, guys. Love you. You guys, we love you so much. Thank you for supporting Self-Helpless. You can follow us on social media, on Instagram and Facebook at Self-Helpless Podcast. And you can visit selfhelplesspodcast.com for all things Self-Helpless. Learn about Patreon and how to sign up. Our merch is there. Information about our Facebook group and how to join. All the episodes you can listen to are on there, a little bit about the show. Our individual sites are linked there, and our contact information, email, and P.O. box if you want to send us some love letters. And you can follow us individually as well. I am at Delaney Fisher on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and DelaneyFisher.com, where you can watch my docu-comedy special, Love at First Cousin, for free. And then DicksByDelaney.com if you want to buy some dick mugs.
Sweet. I'm at Kelsey Cook Comedy on Instagram, at Kelsey Cook on Twitter, kelseycook.com for all tour dates and merch. And my album, Savor It, is still available to buy on iTunes, and you can watch Wrists of Fury, my foosball web series that has an episode with Taylor and Delaney on the All Things Comedy YouTube channel.
And I am at Taylor Tomlinson on Twitter and Instagram, and ttomcomedy.com for my Netflix special and all live tour dates.
Sweet. We love you guys
So much.
Yeah.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Why won't